Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Main the Outspoken. And today we're going to be talking again about the game Atlas. This is a pirate survival MMO game if you're not familiar with it. But I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you've probably played Atlas before. So Grapeshot, the developers of the game, just announced today that we are getting a new patch coming up. The patch was supposed to drop tonight on August 10th, 2022, but it looks like they're pushing that out one more week, so it's going to be dropping potentially August 17th. So this says it's patch version 549.6, and they're calling it the Atlas Summer Tune-Up. And they're talking about some of the changes that they're adding to the game and a lot of bug fixes that are coming along with this patch. So if you've been playing the game and noticing some things not quite working maybe the way they should be, it looks like some of those things potentially are going to be fixed with this patch. Of course, not everything will be fixed. The game is still, in early access and all that kind of stuff, so things are always subject to change. But these are the new patch notes that were just released today, and you can find these on playatlas.com. So one of the new things it looks like they're adding, as you can see by this picture, they're adding in what they're calling poison arrows, which looks pretty interesting. It says the poison arrow is going to cause a debuff that lowers food and water on the target for 60 seconds. And if you get too close to the affected target, it will spread that debuff. So it's almost sort of like the plague sickness that you could get when you get hit by like the plague rat in the game. It will like spread to other players and maybe other tames and animals. So that's interesting. So they're adding in this poison arrow, and it says, again, it does a debuff to lower food and water on the target for 60 seconds. And if you get too close to it, it will spread it to other things nearby, apparently. It says you need to have the secret of the bow, a mortar and pestle, stone arrow, and then you have to have 10 of this toxic compound. As you can see by the pictures here, it looks like when you shoot your target, it will turn kind of green. And that's how you'll know they're getting that debuff. Pretty interesting. So another new change that's coming is they're adding a new region into the game, it says. They're adding a new region called the Trackless Waters. It says Trackless Waters has reappeared into the Atlas as a lawless tundra area, and it's for pathfinders to explore and conquer, bundle up and find rare resources and dangerous beasts. It says it's accessible through portals in Antarctica and the North Pole. So we're getting a new lawless region with this next patch called Trackless Waters. So that looks like that's it for the new content. Now on to all of these bug fixes. All kinds of them here, as you can see. It says they fixed instances of the treasure maps in single player. They were all going to H6 before. Apparently they fixed that. Fixed instances of text inconsistencies. Fixed collision issues with the stairs on the turtle ship. They fixed instances of graphics lower quality after loading in. They're fixing some UI issues, fixing an issue of unloading tames when accessing the fertilizer barrel, and I've seen that myself on the tame house. I accidentally accessed the fertilizer barrel, and all of a sudden all the tames popped out of it, so that was kind of annoying. So they fixed that. Fixed an issue where floor tiles were not snapping to the same height as the floor foundations. Fixed issues where railings were facing the wrong direction on the right side of the Pegasus. They fixed issues where demolishing a ritual pedestal was causing the game to crash. Fixed an issue where sail placement on the mortar ship was blocking the door and ladder. Now, I've seen that on a couple of the different modular ships, so it looks like they're potentially fixing that where you won't be able to place a sail to block the door. It says they fixed an issue where players are getting blocked ascending one side of the ship's scaffolding. Fixed an issue where the spyglass and the sextant overlay did not display in the maw waters, so that's interesting. Fixed an issue where players were unable to go prone, where they were able to go prone while doing a circular slice. So that's interesting for combat. Apparently people were able to go prone while they could circular slice, so that's good that they fixed that. They fixed an issue where players were able to reset the heavy shield bash cooldown. They fixed an issue where invisible walls were forming around tramp freighters being built in the basic shipyard. Fixed the issue where sails could be placed on the rear castle of the tramp freighter and the carrack. So it does look like they've changed the sail positioning on a few of these modular ships. They fixed an issue where sails could be placed and block the front door of the castle on the Harrier ship as well. And fixed an issue where sails could be placed on the steering wheel and the rear sail of the ramming galley. Now, a lot of people have complained about the ramming galley being just too fast. Maybe this will change that, I'm not sure. Maybe it will make it so only 2 sails can go on the ramming galley, but I'm not sure if that will even slow it down. We'll have to see. They fixed the issue with the transient tracker tutorial text. Fixed issues with normal and Kraken-style railings. Not sure what that means exactly. Fixed an issue where medkits could not be used on tames. Now, I have heard people talk about that, where they were not able to heal their tames using a medkit, so apparently that's now fixed. They fixed the issue with the ore miner and gravedigger not being, it blocked other farming structures, and I've heard of that as well. Like if you had an ore miner placed, you couldn't place, like, say, a quarry, which kind of doesn't make sense because those two, the ore miner and the gravedigger, are able to be picked back up and moved around because, of course, the nodes relocate. I think it's like every week. They fixed a text overlap issue in the industrial smithy recipes for structures with long names. Okay. They fixed an issue where structures would continue to auto-repair forever. Oh, that's interesting. They fixed the issue with collision on the stairs of the carrack. Fixed the issue allowing players to place certain industrial structures on a shipyard. Okay. Fixed an issue where baby spiders were dying on server restart. Well, that's not good, so I guess if you're somebody who likes to breed spiders, that's good news for you. They fixed an issue where the holiday vendor was selling outdated items. That's good, because I think it was still selling, like, the Halloween items and stuff from October. Fixed map collision issues. Fixed an issue where interacting with the progression table on the Industrial Wonder caused the game to crash. They fixed an issue with a missing description for the large storage box. Fixed the issue with naming inconsistencies for the verse book. Fixed the issue where the spyglass was not displaying the title and description when viewing sunken treasure. Now that's interesting because I don't think it ever did, from what I can remember. So like when you would spyglass like a sunken treasure, from what I can remember, I don't think it ever showed you the quality of it, but maybe it will now, apparently. Fixed instances of the railings not snapping properly on while in Chinese. Okay. They fixed the issue where the Discovery banner would appear each time the player fast traveled. Fixed an issue where cobras could not be targeted by a puckle. So that's... yeah, I guess if you were trying to put your puckle on all targets, it wasn't shooting cobras before, apparently. Fixed instances of a player being able to place beds underwater. I didn't know that was a thing. They fixed instances where players would lose functionality after logging out on ships in shipyards. Okay, so that's a bunch of bug fixes that they've done, and then now we've got some miscellaneous changes. It says that the art for the advanced dock has slightly changed. They've adjusted the trade wind routes to better match the map art. There's new art for the orichalcum rocks. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. New art for the sulfurized rocks. It says tames that are born in the tame house now will be set to follow the player when unloaded, which is kind of interesting because you still have to claim them, I think. So that'll be interesting. They'll be automatically following you as soon as you unload them out of the tame house. It says tames that are born and raised in the tame house or the hatchery can have their imprint timers paused manually inside the structure. So that's kind of cool. So you'll be able to... I guess you'll be able to choose when you imprint them now. Players can now zoom in and out of the world and region maps to transition between them using a mouse scroll wheel and controllers. So that's kind of cool. Before you had to click like in the top left corner on the little compass symbol in order to see the full map, and I guess now you'll be able to just zoom all the way out, which is kind of cool. It says a button has been added to the server selection screen to join with a new character. This will allow players to delete their current character and start again. Now that's cool for people who maybe get stuck somewhere, like their character is just stuck and they can't load back in for whatever reason. You know, it's unfortunate you'd have to start over and make a new character, but at least now you'll have that option. You won't have to get all the way into the game in order to start a new character. You can just do it right from the title screen. So that might be kind of cool. Now this change is the big one. This was the one that when I saw this, I was like, this was almost wipe-worthy because it's such a huge change. Artifact keys can only be used on the island the boss was defeated on. So that's your Power Stone keys. This is huge. You know, when they introduced the 9 bosses, so now, of course, every Golden Age has a different boss. When they introduced those, I assumed that was the premise of why they were doing it, right? Is, you know, you have 9 different bosses, 9 different islands. I thought that that was the whole idea of it, but of course people figured out that you could just defeat one boss multiple times and get keys, and then of course sail off to whatever island you need to get your Power Stone on. So this change is huge. So now you're going to have to go to all 9 Power Stone islands and defeat those bosses in order to get the 9 Power Stones. So that is huge. The next change is pretty huge as well. It says the removal of underwater effects and maw water fog effects have been disabled in the ini files. I don't know how people do that in the first place, but I've heard of it, that people were somehow able to manipulate files, I guess, to change the way like the water looks and the fog looks so they could see. So apparently that's been removed now, so people won't be able to do that. So that's a good thing. We want people to play fairly, so. It says they've removed the inventory access from the Cursed Temple. Equipment slots on the Ritual Pedestal have been removed. And blueprints for modular ship tiles and railings will now drop from the Ships of the Damned flotsam. So that's good, because I think before there were no railing blueprints you could find. You had to basically have, you know, those more advanced crafting tables like the laboratory, you know, things like that in order to do railing blueprints. So this is good. So now you'll be able to get railing blueprints just out in the wild. And, you know, for Xbox only, it says they've reduced memory usage in certain areas. So that's good. If you play on Xbox, hopefully that means better performance overall for the game. So that's it for this patch notes. So it looks like this is going to be dropping on August 17th, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific time. But of course, as always, keep watching playatlas.com for updates. It's always subject to change. But yeah, it looks like some new changes to the game, hopefully for the better. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel for more content, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.